We want smooth sailing when it comes to our transactions. When it comes to our escrows, we want it to be smooth sailing. In fact, listen to this. When it comes to taking a sale, to taking a listing, there are a few types that I want you to know about that aren't going to be smooth sailing all the time. Every now and then we'll have a gust of wind that'll throw us off course. That's okay. Now, when we're thrown off course, I want you to be ready. Although it's going to be challenging times, a gust of wind, a big wave. So whatever it is that thwarts our journey, I want you to be ready for it. What kind of challenges can you expect? Well, I want to discuss today 3 types of sales that you might be faced with in your career. And some of them aren't so smooth. Some of them aren't going to be smooth sailing, man. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be waves. There's going to be rain while you're in that sailboat. Don't worry about it. As long as you're ready, as long as you're prepared, as long as you understand what you're doing, you'll eventually get to that end of the road. It will be smooth sailing once you cross that escrow finish line. Let's start off with the first challenge, the first challenging type of sale, the first challenging type of listing. How about a short sale? Ever heard of a short sale? I'm sure you have. A short sale. So it is a short sale. Now I want you to pay special attention to this because there was a time back in the recession period, 2008, 2009, 2010, where there was a whole bunch of short sales. And I want you to be ready just in case history repeats itself with real estate, a short sale. Let me give you a quick example. A seller invites you over to their house to list their property. You're ready, right? You get dressed, you wear your best suit or you wear your best outfit, hair's looking good, you're feeling good, your attitude's right there. You show up to their door and they say, come on in, have a seat. They offer you a cup of coffee. Rico's rule number 1, accept a cup of coffee, accept a cup of tea, accept a glass of water, whatever it is, accept it, join them, be with them. They're giving you the permission to stay there for at least half an hour while you're drinking that beverage. Got it? And they say, Mr. or Mrs. Agent, this is my situation. I owe $1 million on this house. I owe the bank $1 million. I have a mortgage of $1 million, but it's only worth $700,000. It's only worth $700,000, not enough to cover that mortgage. If I was to sell this property, I can't pay back the bank. I cannot pay back the bank the $1 million I owe them. I'm short $300,000, hence the term short sale. I'm short, and I don't have $300,000 sitting around. I don't have $300,000 under my mattress that I can make up the difference. If I owe Bank of America $1 million and I sell this property, and I'm only able to get what its true value is, which is $700,000, I'm short. What am I gonna do? Well, I called you, real estate agent. I called you to help me out. What do you think I should do? This is the classic example of a short sale. And it's rather simple. The seller contacts the bank, B of A, and says, hey, B of A, I can't make payments anymore. I lost my job. I got to sell this property. And if I sell this property, B of A, I don't have enough to pay you back. Now, Bank of America is going to tell the seller, well, go ahead and sell it what it's worth. If it's worth $700,000, it is what it is, sell it. Well, the seller says, whoa, hold on a minute. I'm not stupid, am I? You'll come after me after those $300,000 I owe you. Bank of America will say, don't sweat it. This is a short sale. You sell it, get rid of it, we'll forgive the difference. What? Son of a God. Are you kidding? You're going to forgive the difference? Yeah, we'll forgive the difference. Now, mind you, this requires approval of the bank. The bank's first instruction is going to be, hey, seller, go find yourself a real estate agent. Sell it for what it's worth. That's where you as an agent come in. Now, mind you, taking a short sale as a listing is not so simple. It's not going to be smooth sailing. Don't worry about it. There's a process. Now, the process isn't short. It's actually long. I'm surprised they don't call it a long sale. It is long. And it's long because it needs approval of the bank. B of A wants to see proof that the seller really can't make the payments, that the seller doesn't want to jump ship just because it's become an inconvenient loan. So there's a lot of analyzing that the bank, in this case, Bank of America, has to do to approve this loan. And that approval process, ladies and gents, takes a long time. It can take months. I've seen it take years. So when somebody contacts you and says, Mr. Mrs. Agent, would you mind selling my house? It'll probably be a short sale. You have some thinking to do. You have some thinking to do. Do you really want to accept this listing? It can take a lot out of you. You're in the boat. You're sailing. You're out in the ocean, out in the open waters. But you can expect some waves. You can expect gusts of winds. You might see a shark in the ocean every now and then. Are you willing to take that chance? And might not get to your destination, but if you fight tooth and nail, you probably will. Got it? Now that's one type of sale, the short sale, in a nutshell. Next type of sale, how about a foreclosure sale, huh? Ever heard of those? Property that's listed as a foreclosure. Sure, there are several out there. There was a time in history, not long ago either, that we had a whole bunch of foreclosures out there for sale. All over the nation. It was flooded. Can you get a foreclosure listing? Can you sell as a real estate agent a foreclosure? Absolutely. But typically, typically the bank will select the realtor. So you would have to go knocking on the doors of banks and says, hey, can I help you sell your foreclosures? Now that's a long shot. Is it possible? Sure. You gotta have the tenacity to go after those banks, all the mortgage companies, and say, hey, I understand you have a whole bunch of foreclosures because the nation is going through some kind of economic crisis. Would you mind if I represented you in selling all your foreclosures? You're not dealing with an individual. You're not dealing with an actual person or mortgage holder. You're dealing with the bank. It's you and the bank. You're representing the bank when it comes to a foreclosure sale. So if a bank contacts you and says, ring, ring, hello, are you an agent? And you say, yeah, I am. And they say, well, this is Bank of America, and we have 1,000 listings that we'd like to provide to you. What's going to be your answer? You're going to say, thank you for contacting me. I'd be more than happy to take care of that for you. Beautiful. That's a foreclosure sale. And all you do is you get their product, which is the house. You take their product, representing the bank, and you put it up for sale. And sure, there's some particulars involved. You'll negotiate with the bank who you'll be representing, and they'll probably bring down your commission because they're going to give you a whole bunch of foreclosures. Not a big deal. It's a lot of business for you. So if you get something like that, if you get the opportunity to represent a bank on foreclosures, go for it. You just hit the jackpot. I'm proud of you. Now, let's talk about one more type of sale. And this is what I call the traditional sale, the conventional sale, your regular sale. I don't care what you call it. It's a sale where it's you, the seller, and the seller has equity. It's a great situation. This is the smooth sailing sale. The smooth sailing sale. This is the one where we open escrow, execute, and close. Open, execute, and close. Open, execute, and close. You get in a boat, you start sailing the ocean. There's no waves, typically. There's no rain, typically. There's no gust of winds, typically, and you just ride it. You sit back and enjoy the sale. Got it? Simple. Example. Seller calls you. Says, I'm thinking about listing my house. Can I please meet with you? What's going to be your answer? Rocky style. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to show up. You're going to look good. You're going to feel good. You're going to be polished. You're going to give them your presentation. You're going to say, how much do you owe, Mr. Seller? He's going to say $1 million. You're going to say, well, I did my research. Your house is worth $2 million. You've done good. You're in a great situation, Mr. Seller. Fantastic. After all your fees, Mr. Seller, you'll probably walk away with $800,000. Pay off your $1 million mortgage. We sell it for $2 million. You walk away after all your fees with about $800,000, $850,000, whatever the math is. That's a nice traditional sale. In this case, the seller wins. Got it? That's a nice conventional sale, a nice traditional sale, and that's what's happening in today's economy. Doesn't matter if you're in California, Florida, New York, Oregon. Typically right now, most sellers, most homeowners are in that situation where most sales in the nation are your traditional, conventional sales. You have an agent who's hired by a seller who has equity, who's willing to sell their property to a buyer. Traditional sale. Smooth sailing. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is the deal. Your career is based on sales, whether you represent the buyer or the seller in any one of these cases. You can also represent a buyer when it comes to a short sale. You can also represent a buyer when it comes to a foreclosure sale. You can definitely represent a buyer when it comes to your traditional, conventional sale. So either side of the fence you're playing on, whether you're the buyer or the seller's agent, remember, there's different types of sales out there, and all of them will guarantee you a commission once you're done, once it's over and out, once it's finito. Smooth sailing, we all want it. Every now and then, it's not so smooth. So what? You can do this. So at the end of the day, just get to your destination. Now, as a reminder, all of these types of sales require a contract, right? A type of listing agreement. Take a look at this video right here. You're gonna get tons out of it. It'll explain to you the type of listing agreements that are required for any sale. We'll see you next week.